No, we can just start.
Welcome to episode 3 of Oath of Endosteel. This is the year 3027, part 1. We are currently, all of us, except for Sam who finished his, working on miniatures. We're getting them from HeroForge.com. Your Patreon dollars are going directly towards making these beautiful miniatures, which we'll then use to simulate ground combats in-game as I try to murder everybody. We're mostly just looking at Eddie here, who didn't finish his. So you don't get to see them this time. So Patreon, you know, this is where your money's going. Thank you so much. Of course, we didn't have an episode last week because of Mother's Day. Now you got Patreon's getting a week ahead again. Don't worry, regular folk, you'll be able to keep up with us. It was a heck of a game last time. We do have some bookkeeping to do. Mostly, we need to talk about who's keeping mistresses and who's trying to have kids, and then we'll officially be in 3027. Sam, I think you decided that you are going to maintain your mistress because you have a kid, and if you don't maintain the mistress, you don't maintain the kid. But you're not going to try to have another kid with her, correct?
Yeah. I rolled to see if Lachlan was the type of scumbag that cheats on his wife, and while he has many other types, apparently he's not that type. So, yeah.
Are you trying to have a kid with Xenia?
Yeah, for sure.
We're gonna have a scene about that before I make that roll.
Okay.
I think I know why.
No, I mean, look, your relationship with her has been somewhat more distant than everybody else.
That is very reasonable.
You know, speaking of reasonable, let's talk to the most reasonable member of the group. Eddie, what do you got here? You have trying to have a what I mean is Kuro is the most reasonable member of the three. Trying to have a kid? Your wife?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Mistresses?
Likely not. I think that would go against Kuro's honor code.
All right. No kids this year. Jasper?
Absolutely having a kid.
Mistresses?
Absolutely not. Holy shit.
Making sure.
Such good.
I know you have to answer. I know you have to ask the question.
Okay, no kids this year. All right. Look, things have been changing for you, Lachlan McDougal. You are Tony Stark at the beginning of Iron Man 1, but not like the very beginning when he gets blasted in the desert. You're that part where they're like, he's on every cover. You know, he's supposed to be delivering a speech right now, but he's gambling in the hotel and drinking. That's where you are right now.
Oh, that's not great.
The success of your project and the fact that you appear to the public to have either some hold over the Chancellor. Like, some people are saying that you must be threatening him. The general public consensus is that you are being groomed as the next Chancellor. People know your political mastery. Businesses everywhere are lining up to donate to your campaign now that you've proven to be a friend of business. There's a lot of people wanting to shake your hand and make sure that they too can get their tariffs off planet reduced.
Can't spell good business without McDougal.
Can't spell good business without Bribe McDougal. That's the new campaign slogan. Jacobson has stepped away to let you kind of deal with all of this, but he was first in the door, and you occasionally get calls from him to help clear stuff up at the spaceport. Kind of deal. And he expects you to do it quickly because he donated a lot of money to you.
Sure.
Millions and millions of C-bills. Yeah. And he was the first in the door. You know how it is. So let me be clear about the situation with your wife. You are a very busy man if you want to be. If not, you know, you're going to have some problems politically and economically, but that's fine. You're certainly in a better place than you were last year. Your wife spends a lot of time lying on the floor with pillows and blankets, just staring out into the yard. relaxing, whenever she's not manically working on the project to save her family by going back in time and erasing everything that's happened.
Right. Yeah, so Lachlan probably doesn't super know how to deal with that. You know, because he's way too self-obsessed, and that's a difficult thing to deal with if you're not a self-obsessed monster. But I do think that he is trying to take time out to spend time with her, right? Like, he is not going to shun his duties, right? Like, he is still very, very busy, I'm sure. But I think he's like trying to do, like, he would be trying to do that thing where he is setting aside a certain period of time every day to spend time with Xenia, whether it's trying to contribute a little bit with the putting together of her machine, because he does have a knack for tech, mostly when it has to do with mechs, but still. And yeah, I mean, just like actually trying to get to know her a little bit. One thing that I wanted to kind of talk about after the last time is I think, like, between the way she interacted with Bassett in a situation where it was the three of them and the vote in the Senate, like, really kind of perturbed him about that relationship.
Yeah, you've seen several echoes of this in the past.
Right. And so, yeah, he's there. It would be too easy to say that there isn't an ulterior motive under it, because there kind of always is with Lachlan, but he is genuinely trying to, like, make this marriage kind of work, right?
I'm so glad you said that. Anything else, you would be a total motherfucker. But
yeah,
also,
I mean, but Lachlan is, so I'm trying to, like, distinguish which types of motherfucker he is. You know what
I mean?
I had a question for him.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Oh, I think I would like maybe some sort of role. I would like to
there will be a role
of this where you know, like, you try to put in the work and try to help her, and then, you know, there's a point where, like, it's so easy for you to just throw this off at some point, or, like, she kind of gets mad at you and you're kind of done with it, and then I want to know, do you actually still stick with it or not? You know, like,
Sure.
I love I don't know, in my head it's always easy to say that, but then once you're like, you know, you're in hour 3 of it, you're like, have I done enough emotional labor? Have I done? I'm not sure. And, like, do you put up with it?
I'm going to present you with some options. If what I list for you isn't available, tell me how you want to do things. 1, intimidation. You just want to be that kind of husband that's like, you need to stop messing around with all, like, it sounds like you're not doing that specifically, but if you want to be like, what is your relationship with Sebastian Bassett, and push that hard and try to get her to separate from him, intimidation is going to be involved. Number 2, protocol. If you just fall back on everything that you learned from your parents and your brothers, and just want to be like, yes, this is the wife that I have married. Not like the wife that I love, but this is the wife that I married. And, you know, there are ways of speaking and rules and rituals. Protocol.
Marriage is like a mech. You must learn how to pilot it.
Yes. Negotiation will be if you genuinely are interested and want to learn more about her. There isn't like a persuasion or like a seduction. Negotiation is mostly used in that part. Acting,
streetwise,
is if you're just lying. If you straight up, you're just like, like, I'm super interested in this. And finally, at a more difficult amount, I'll let you make a technician roll or a mech technician roll. Just get involved. Get closer that way.
Just get lost in the machine.
Your heart's beat as you work on the machinery. The warm heart, the cold steel.
Awesome. I mean, that's clearly the option. Just hear the words.
Oh man, statistically, that is the option that is most likely to be successful for Lachlan. Unfortunately.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Out of all
of the things that you mentioned, that is the skill I am best at. I think.
Look, there's something to be said for having a shared hobby and getting closer to someone through that.
That's what it is.
So true.
And to explain, like, why is because, like, so normally as we've kind of seen from Lachlan is, like, he's kind of some combination of protocol and negotiation, where it's like kind of all flowery smiles, but all very nobility first. But I think, like, it would be very clear very quickly with, like, the way Xenia's trauma is coming out, that like that's not gonna work. You know what I mean? Like she's just not interested in like like she's just sitting out staring. She's it would be I could see it. I don't think it would take very much for Lachlan to realize that that's not the way to do it. And so because the only way he's ever gotten anything kind of out of Xenia that felt real to him was when they were working on the machine together when they first met, I think that's kind of what he would fall back on.
Okay. Let's make that roll. I also want to mention to Patreon audience 2 things. One, well, not specifically Patreon for the first one. The new art is in the reel from Bearded Jalapeno of everybody's primary mechs. I'm technically counting Kuro's primary mech as the Raven. Whether that's true or not is questionable. And number 2, Eric has said that maybe we should make a Tamari mini. And I'm thinking, okay. The price on Hero Forge is not bad, you know? Not bad. I'll think about it.
She is
That's
pretty
the
awesome.
content that Patreon wants.
It certainly would allow me to get all of the barons and maybe get them there. We don't know a lot about Shinji Moritomo Lake.
Yeah.
We've only really seen him from different angles. So
True.
let's make this roll.
I'm trying to figure out what my tech empathy does really quick because I can't remember if it's a bonus or a reroll. And that is quite a big difference. It is a trait, I believe.
Yes, it is.
And this book is not super well laid out. So
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
No
Tech
idea
empathy,
what that
plus
is.
1 bonus for any non-combat test directly
Perfect.
involving technology.
Alrighty, so I'm going to have a +6 total on this.
Well, congratulations. You only need a 13, so you're probable to make this roll. Don't fuck it up.
Come on, big
I said don't fuck it up! Oh, you fucked it up.
That's a 6.
I know, it's so good.
That's a 12 total. So
Yeah.
I will go ahead and re-roll my 1.
All you have to do is not make a 1 on this one.
Not roll a 1. Come on, not a 1. That's a 6.
There you go.
Nice.
So your new total is what?
17.
So you go several points past. You go way more than just 2 past the black. So I think that there's a day sometime around, it's between Christmas and New Year's, where you wake up and Xenia is seated on the back porch of your estate, wrapped in these huge blankets, drinking hot cocoa. There's snow on that porch. The back area is completely whited out. Her machine is covered in the tarping, and you know, like you sit next to her on one of the porch chairs and you notice that she's crying and the tears are freezing to her face, and she turns towards you and says, I don't know anymore if I need to just live this life with what I have or if I want the old one.
Oh man. Yeah, so I think Lachlan, to set the scene a little bit, I think he's probably like a little bit overdressed for the situation as usual, right? Like he's in like what you would think of as like Lachlan working clothes, so like kind of a over the top suit.
It's cold as shit out here.
Yeah.
I imagine you're wearing something that would be something that we might even see out of like Game of Thronesy, like a Stark fur kind of thing.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
But like a Stark, like, you know, some kind of like wolf pelted or like Mongolian kind of like dress thing.
For sure. Yeah,
You are Jon Snow.
exactly.
Yeah, something like that.
And like he'll probably pull out like a handkerchief or something, and like wipe the tears away. And we'll put his arm around her, and he will say, you know, I think that we all sometimes want to go back, and you just happen to be much smarter than all the rest of them out there. So it's actually seems like an option for you. But I would be lying if I said that I wouldn't miss you when you're gone. Though I realized that when we started all of this, it was a political convenience, and I said it would be fine once you disappeared. I don't think that's entirely the truth.
So this is our Lachlan McDougal mini, by the way, for everyone at home. I'll get the tag over it for the next episode. Yeah, I think she just silently holds a hand out for you to like hold.
Yeah. He'll take it and go ahead. Sorry.
That's it. That's the end of the scene. That's the scene. It's just the two. It's from the inside of the house, the massive window glass making a frame of the two of you seated, drinking a warm beverage, holding hands. I am now going to roll to see if you have kids.
Nice.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Is that good or bad?
This
Depends on what you want.
I mean, Lachlan would very much like an heir.
Can you roll 2d6 real quick?
Uh-oh.
That's a 5.
Oh boy. It's not a 5, my friend. It's a 3 and a 2.
3 and a 2.
Your wife is pregnant with twins.
Nice.
One boy and one girl.
Nice. Great news. That is great news for the Lachlan clan.
Nice.
The McDougal clan now has 3 kids.
You better start thinking of names for these kids, because
I already have some names picked out. Don't you worry. Let me look at my list of potential McDougal names.
all right, you don't need them yet because they're not going to be born until just before.
Right.
And you're the one running the Kerensky Ball this year, right? Well, you're going to be a new parent and running a planetary-wide event function. I assume that the dark circles under your eyes will have dark circles under their eyes.
Sounds like a TV show premise.
Yeah, for real.
Way soon to NBC. Or DBC, I should say.
But wait a minute, I'm hosting the ball this year.
So the first scene that we get,
Two's company.
the bottom left-hand
You're
corner.
also a leader of a mech company called Two. Two's bottom.
The bottom left-hand corner of the screen reads,
Oh my God.
February 13th, 3027, Planet Whittington.
This summer, the McDougal clan is seeing double.
Oh no.
I'm sorry.
I'm just like
You want to run? You want to run the show? You want to do the advertising?
Eric's head's just like running through
Fucking
advertising like ideas
Yeah.
right now. It's great.
Man. We see what is clearly like a pre-recorded, like previously interview with James Jives saying, and that's all we know now. So to summarize, Justin Shang has been stripped of the name Allard, his father's name, after being put on trial for treason, conduct unbecoming, lying on a military report, cowardice, and association with enemy forces. In a stunning upset, Prince Hans Davian himself has showed up in court to commute the sentence that the judge has given and exile Justin permanently from the Federated Sons. Well, a man who was once a former war hero is now cast out without a home.
All right, that's a big deal.
It's a huge deal. The channel changes, and
all our characters know who that is. Like,
Justin
everyone
Shang
knows
Allard?
who
Yeah.
this-
He was
everyone
mentioned
knows.
last episode, I believe.
Yeah. Just a quick question about lore.
son of
If
a general.
when something like this happens, if you get like booted out of the Suns, would the Suns like take all of your resources and stuff? Like,
So
or
this
would they
guy,
let you go
his
with
dad's
your
still alive.
his dad is the head of military intelligence.
He's the scion.
Got it.
Yeah.
So he would be kicked out with nothing.
Yes, he was kicked
Yeah,
out with
so-
nothing.
What was the name again?
Justin Shang. His name was Justin Shang Allard because his mom's name was Shang.
But obviously he loses the last name.
The faux realistic Downton Abbey show that hypothesizes a relationship between the head.
Admit that we watch, but we all
Yes.
secretly fucking binge every day.
That's the next thing that you see. It's two of the side characters at what is clearly a scenic backdrop. So whenever someone, when someone's like, "This is the White House," and you always get that same front view of the White House.
Yeah.
This
with the
is
fucking garden.
New
Yeah.
Avalon Institute of Science campus. It's the same fake set that every single show uses. It's at night. There are fireworks going off, and one of the side ship young women's, like supporting characters, is looking nervous and adjusting her shawl, and she says, "I'm just so happy to be at the New Avalon Institute of Science to learn. Back where I come from, we have the Nagel Ring, but they don't have as good technology there. There's so many books here." And then the Federated Sons supporting character slams his hand on the wall next to her and leans in close, puts a hand up under her chin, and he says, "There's so much you can learn here that you can't find in books, my..."
God damn it.
And then the channel flips again.
There's just like a 3 shot of all just eating popcorn.
yeah, exactly. We're all in our like estate rooms. And
we'll get to this.
Watching this together. Oh my god. Okay,
well, no, you are watching it together, but don't worry. I'll explain what's happening right now. The channel flips again.
Keep going.
And it is Lyran Commonwealth noble. Wearing high collar. He kind of looks like if Lachlan wasn't a huge douchebag. And he's going...
It's hard to imagine.
And that's what it says in my new book, James. And it's clear that this interview is live. And he says, total sociopath. Without a conscience, he's a bully, he's a crime lord. He partners with criminals, he partners with liars. He attempts to eliminate his enemies, and when he gets challenged in any way, he immediately backs down. Buy my new book, James. Buy my new book, Deeper Lies, The Many Faces of Jasper Hiroka. And then he says something very racist. He goes, he wants to pretend to be a white knight, but he's really as yellow as a snake. And James is like, all right, okay, this interview's over. Thank you very much. Consulting psychologist, Lord Bertrand Ruskier. As we zoom out from that, you all are on one of those airport walk-along things, and you're all just like looking at the television like, what the fuck did we just watch?
Oh, god damn it.
You are on your way to a place to hang your sword, which you might recall is the really neat little ryokan in the spaceport that specifically caters to the ultra wealthy and the ultra privileged, so that they have a private place to have their meeting. You have been invited there on behalf of Sir Maximilian Jacobson, and he has rented out the entire facility for just a meeting between for total privacy.
Yep. Gotta flex.
So
yeah. Exactly.
as you all step off of the walkway, the moving walkway, and make your way across the spaceport proper towards the ryokan, what do you say? I mean, obviously, you just saw some real shit happen on the massive holo screen while you were waiting for your walkway to get you to where you're going.
I'm real curious about Justin Shang. Have you heard anything more about it?
If anyone...
I've been...
Go ahead.
Been a little busy.
As it would seem, if
yeah.
the book's author
meeting with my PR consultants, yeah.
Indeed.
I feel like if anyone was going to know more about this, it would be you, Kuro, given your contacts.
Yes, of course. That would be a fair assumption. On that note, AP, would Kuro know anything about this? Did this like trickle down into any kind of chain of command?
I
am
mean,
a lieutenant.
You have specifically been told not to speak about this publicly. You know, it's not there. If you are questioned by a reporter, refer them to the office of what is it called? The like public relations. Yeah. You're told to refer them to military public relations. Don't talk about it. Do you want to make a roll to see if you, as an intelligence community operative, have heard what's going on?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to.
All right. I feel like
investigation,
maybe, or protocol. One of those two.
Okay.
Because this is to learn more about a group that you are a member of.
Totally. I'll do investigation. I get out.
How are you learning this? Are you learning it from people, or are you learning it just from like the reports?
Yeah, it will have to be from people because they don't put this in reports.
So is it charisma then? Is your like water cooler?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean,
it'd be the same either way.
You're gonna get rumors filtered down. It's a question of sorting through which ones are true or not.
Okay. So I got
there's certainly been a lot of rumors about Justin. The community is highly divided. Please make your roll.
All right. I got bucks. Well, I got 8 plus 4. So 12.
Okay, that's 12. That's exactly what you needed. All right. So here is what you believe to be the absolute truth of the incident. The reports say that Justin was a major assigned to a training battalion. You'd heard that he'd been assigned to this particular unit because he's not exactly like a war hero, but he is a fairly important individual. It's assumed at some point that he would eventually take over his father's job as head of the military and intelligence. He received the Federated Sun's Diamond Sunburst, which is a pretty major award of which he's now been stripped. So you could say he's a war hero, but it's not like he's fought in dozens of engagements. It was just once on Spica. Now he's on Kittery. He has a Valkyrie mech, and he is leading a training battalion, which is something like dozens of Stingers. And he's training the next generation of Mechwarriors. He was forced to dismiss a high-profile mech pilot candidate, and in doing so, he began to make contacts with the local, Tong, the Chinese mafias. They would bring him gifts. They would talk to him, and the story is he set up his own unit. They were raided by a Capellian Liao battalion of Cicada Battlemechs and some other mechs. Supposedly, Justin claims that he got in a fight with a rifleman, but the evidence against him shows that he got in a fight with an urban mech. And so he lost to a mech that was much smaller than him. He ran away. His cockpit was shot at. He was injured. His arm got blown off. His dad arranged for him to get a new cybernetic arm, and he didn't think he'd be able to pilot a mech from there, but it turns out that that arm allows him to plug directly into his mech now. Which means nothing because he has no mech and also no father. He was charged with treason by Count Videos, and so because it was in noble court rather than in legal court, it was more about reputation. And Videos brought out the local war hero that Justin dismissed. He brought in evidence. He brought in witness after witness testifying against Justin's character. And finally, the prince showed up himself. Prince Hans Davian showed up to rep for Dad and said, I'm going to commute the sentence. And Justin publicly denounced the prince as a travesty of justice. And the prince said, well, if you don't like it, then get the hell out of my country.
So basically he like backhanded the prince after after he was trying to assist in relieving him of this
so the big thing is that Justin, so they kept trying to play up that Justin, his mother was Capellian, and they kept accusing him because he looks very ethnically Chinese of being a Capellian agent. And, you know, like his heritage made him shifty and all of this stuff. And he said that the court
is that
was...
why they said the racist shit to me?
Oh, listen, this is Battletech. They say racist shit to everybody.
Oh, that's true. You're not wrong.
Don't worry. The Draconis Combine has racist shit to say about white people too. Don't worry about that. Shh.
God.
Let's see here. Yes. So Justin basically is repping. He's like, okay, if my Federated Sun's heritage isn't enough, I will stand with the Capellian people. It sounds like he has intended to go to Solaris 7. That is where local intelligence operatives are tracking him to. How long he'll be able to stay there with the alliance between the Lyrans and the Federated Suns is questionable. And how long until someone just kills him is also questionable because he's made a huge number of enemies. And he's a man with no country.
Yeah.
When in doubt, fuck off to Space Vegas.
Yep.
So, man,
that's what you got.
Damn, that's a lot. I was like trying to take notes that entire time because like,
don't worry. There's several whole novels that deal with this storyline.
Oh, really? Okay, cool.
Michael Stackpole wrote them, I think.
Well, I think Kuro would try to just say,
no need to keep an eye on that Justin Shea. We'll never hear from him again.
Yeah, exactly. It was a complicated situation. Suffice to say, he has fled. Yes, I'm not allowed to speak much more than that.
Does this have anything to do with? Does this have anything to do with those troop movements?
Ooh, I guess from a tactical perspective, would Kuro be able to surmise? Because it's not necessarily something like where there would be a.
There's been training exercises.
Right.
Heavy quotes there.
I mean, you guys have specifically, if you'll remember, you had 2 regiments of infantry drop onto this planet.
Yeah,
right.
That's right. Does that affect our combat readiness? Pretty demoralizing. It's a pretty publicly demoralizing.
Yeah, it's not great for all of you, but probably it has been, like, you haven't been raided since then, and they are spreading out across the world.
Right.
So that if something happens, their job is basically to scream loud enough as they die to let you know where the mechs are.
Gotcha.
Sorry, that was a very graphic image I just had in my head of like.
Yeah, I mean, that's their job. They're trained in like making sure roads are clear and helping with national and emergency disasters.
It's like the National Guard, but
yeah, making a lot of noise before dying very messily. They're gonna have their job is to bait the mechs into fighting them in like caves and hills and buildings.
It seems like it's bad for us to have them here unless we happen to get invaded. Correct. In which case, it's really good that they were here.
Like militarily, these 2 units of infantry could easily like launch surprise attacks and take out this entire world's defenses. Like if for some reason the March Lord was like, well, fuck these nobles, I'm gonna get new nobles, time to do a purge. These infantry, if they struck it like without warning, they could do it. So you know, it's like a sword of Damocles that occasionally you get to put in your hand, but most of the time it hangs over you.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So easy.
And so we kind of
what to be afraid of an Order 66.
Yeah. I mean, it's not the first time nobles have been purged in the Federated Sons. It happens from time to time.
Proud to be a Federation. Or at least I know I'm free.
To follow up on Eric's question about the tactics of and kind of what we could surmise from what's going on with Justin and the training that he was undergoing, or rather the training that he was conducting, would like like would the information be like a trickle down of what is being prepared for, or is this kind of like pretty typical training that was being conducted?
The training that Justin was doing was a new military training, but it has been in work for decades.
Okay,
right. It's,
so
you know, they were like,
there's no like red flags that are like triggering for me.
Well, I mean, your wife is giving you all the red flags you need. This is not.
That's fair.
This battalion has been planned since before the end of the Third Secession War, which just happened a couple of years ago. Like the plan was to always run this battalion, but you know, you can't make a entire battalion of stingers out of nowhere.
Sure, I gotcha. Okay.
And then by the time the mechs are ready, you have to find the candidates. So you need people who know how to pilot mechs, but they also have to have the capability to become better pilots.
Yep. Yeah, I think Lachlan will just say, well, if this unrest is anything to show for it, you may be right sooner rather than later on your war, Kuro.
Yes, I'm still lingering on the words that Lord Genji had said at the end of that Senate hearing. I wonder if the mercenary halls were the right choice. I wanted to support Jana in this, but either way, to business.
Yeah, just kind of head in.
As you're passing, someone you see two of the stevedores like lifting a block of something, and one of them goes, "Hey, you know, is your cousin still working on Pride and Royals?" And he's just like, "Oh yeah, you see the latest episode?" He's like, "No, I don't watch that girl shit." And he's like, "You know, there's surprisingly more to it. There's like Gentlemen of Honor."
All of us are like trying not to look. We're like trying to avert our eyes and like be lost in our own conversation.
Awesome.
You enter into the ryokan, and immediately the sound dampening technology cuts out the loud spaceport dropships taking off, people loading things, loader mechs walking backwards doing the beep beep beep. Emil, the concierge, is there to take any items that you require off and to lead you to a seating area. It's like a recessed area where like 8 people could sit on cushions on the floor.
I'm trying to remember the name of it, but there's like an outer layer that like samurai used to wear.
I mean, it's called a hakama, I believe.
Okay, thank you.
I mean, if you want to be provided with such wares, they have them.
Well, I was oh yeah. I was thinking that I was wearing one on
okay. Right. Well, then he'll take it for you like one would take a coat.
So
right, exactly.
I imagine this place, as part of the sound dampening, has sort of like meditative sound.
Oh yeah, Zen stuff.
Soundscapes.
There's a ton of like Shinto symbolism and proto-Japanese stuff going on here.
Oh no, no crystal healing bowls.
No, sorry.
Resonance that heal. Okay.
They use real technology here, not.
By habit, Kuro is certainly checking his what is it called? Bug sweeper. To like.
Okay. I mean, your bug sweeper reports that there are no bugs in here. It's never. Yeah. It's like it's never been this clean before.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like one of those habits that he's developed where he's like every place he gets to or any place that he goes to, he's always checking to make sure.
Like, I don't want to say a buffet is laid out for you, but like a large selection of a little bit of all of their menu items are laid out for you.
Got sashimi?
Oh yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah. But Emil comes out and he quietly explains several of his personal creations to you. It's short, you know, it'll take less than 2 minutes. He doesn't want to interrupt your time, but he also takes pride in creating, the seasonal menu.
I'm just going like.
Kuro is like enraptured with his descriptions. He's like, fascinating. So I like what you've done with the flavors here.
A lot of what he's describing is fish is real big this time of year, February on this planet.
It's carp year.
The name of his items are, rather than being kind of neutral or even federated Sunzi, he specifically calls things like Luthien dogs and stuff like that. It has gone, Luthien is the capital world of the Draconis Combine. He's specifically going very oriental.
Gotcha.
And I think Kuro would you all like some tea?
I mean, as you say that, there's a teapot that just magically appears on the table. Next to it is
like Kuro begins pouring.
Eddie ceremonies.
There's a 6-pack of, what was the name of this beer? Golden.
The kelp.
Yeah,
the golden kelp.
Kelp beer. I got you.
Periphery Gold.
Periphery. Yes.
Periphery Gold. That's such a good.
Oh my god,
name, that's so good.
There are 3 cans of your personal beers, Jasper. The Hiroka family brand, and then a bottle of nice wine that are left out.
I don't drink at private business things. I only drink in celebrations and privately. I think that's what I did in the first episode too.
I think Kuro would wait to partake in the beers, but does ceremoniously pass around the tea to everyone.
Or your teacup last. We got you.
Yeah.
I have to edit all of the ages of everybody on the wiki.
Lachlan will drink.
Yeah, you need to put this into a spreadsheet, dude, and just make the column +1. That's the play.
Spreadsheet doesn't look as good to when people need to read stuff.
Bro,
That's fair.
That's fair.
can you make spreadsheets reference values?
20 now. Kuro's 20
now,
now, if I recall.
Celeste is a whole 2 years old. I don't know how what 2-year-old kids do, but I'm assuming she can say words now at the very least.
Yes.
There are dozens of parents that watch the show that are just like, Arthur, you don't know shit about kids. I don't know.
2-year-olds are like starting to talk a little bit.
Yeah.
Please, I never grew up. I know nothing. I know everything about kids.
I was a kid one time.
People call me a baby all the time. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, have you seen his baby face?
That's what I said.
Yeah, some of my friends have kids these days. It's like, it's a challenge to keep up.
Wow, Maximilian is 47 now.
Old Max.
The door to the front door opens, and this is a private engagement, of course.
Sure.
But the person that comes through is not Sir Maximilian Jacobson. It's not who you believed you were meeting with. They are wearing a Jacobson windbreaker parka, but it's actually Audrey Lafayette. Baroness Audrey Lafayette.
Plot twist.
Emile seats her at the table at the seat across from all of you, as if she's supposed to be there.
I think oh wait, no, it was Latour who was giving me a hard time. Never mind. Yeah. So,
I don't know that she was giving you a hard time, but yes, Audrey is your former ex-girlfriend.
Yes.
Okay. When you say ex-girlfriend, I literally asked her at a ball one time.
Then you asked
to marry you.
Then you asked her to marry you.
You asked her to marry you.
No, to entertain the idea.
No, I'm just giving you a hard time.
She didn't get back to you for 2 days.
Yeah, we're just gonna continuously throw you under the bus for this, Eric. It's fine.
I know, that's fine. That's fine.
I think Kuro would immediately pour her a cup of tea.
Yeah,
she looks good.
Baroness Lafayette.
I gotta be honest. Like the last time you saw her on television, she was emaciated, dark circles, bawling on camera with James Jives. She looks good now. She accepts the tea and pours herself a glass of wine and starts chowing down on the food that's here without saying anything.
Yeah, I'll try to make small talk in a way that you're confined in a room with your ex. I think tuna. I found the carp this year is pretty good. Or whatever the fish. The
yeah. I mean, when you mention something, she'll take some of it off of the little dish and put it into her plate.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm trying to just how do I not bring up how awkward this is?
Yeah,
I feel that's real bad.
I feel like Kuro puts a hand on your nothing visible.
Smack your hand away. Don't touch me.
No. He's like Baroness Lafayette. What brings you here today?
She puts her chopsticks down and sets them on the plate and says, "I am the person that you are to meet today."
I see.
I was at the wedding, but I thought it best that I not show my face. And given the events, it seems wise that I had avoided the cameras. I wish to give my deeply heartfelt, but late congratulations on your marriages.
Much appreciated.
I think kind of reading the room, Kuro, I think takes some of the periphery gold and begins pouring himself a glass.
You're like, it's gonna be that kind of meeting, huh?
I think Lachlan is, he's being polite, but it's clear. I think it's a little bit obvious that he's not super pleased by this ambush meeting. But it's probably unclear whether he actually cares that it's Lafayette versus him just feeling like Jacobson big dogged him a little bit here and not really loving that.
Yeah.
I'm just, as a player, wondering if this is AP's got fed up with us about avoiding the personal combat rules. Something set up.
No, don't worry. Listen, the personal
just as a reminder, I do have 6 cents, and
yes.
what was the other thing?
Yeah,
oh my God.
combat sense.
Yeah, combat sense.
We'll come back to that in a minute.
You're fictional out of mech bloodhound probe. Okay, you are. You're our sensor network. Okay.
Oh my gosh. And I think as Kuro takes a healthy gulp, or not gulp, but polite sip of his beverage, and he puts it down. And he says, "You're looking well, and thank you. Yes, it was unfortunate, the events that played out that night. Other than our unions."
She pulls a sealed bag out from a pocket, and as soon as she opens the bag, your bug scanner goes absolutely apeshit. The whatever device that she's pulled out is like sending and receiving huge amounts of data, but it's all being blocked because this facility has Star League like anti-tampering technology everywhere.
So I would be aware potentially that like there is transmissions being sent and received.
It's all automatic. It's not like she's like, I'm gonna look up the internet now. It's just like whatever is on this device, its operating system is attempting to automatically connect to the internet and failing.
Got it. Okay.
And it's attempting to automatically draw data into it from somewhere. It's sending something out and it's pulling something in, and it's a lot in both directions, but it's getting nothing in either direction.
Okay. So it's still safe, is what you're saying.
Correct. But your bug scanner is just like, this is a recording device.
It's like when your Apple Watch like gives you a text message notification. That's essentially what happens on my wrist.
Yeah, so I think like after saying like much appreciated and letting the others like say a little something, Lachlan is just going to be like, but surely, Baron Lafayette, I imagine that bringing us here to apologize was not the whole of your goal. Otherwise, I have a feeling we could have done it in slightly less inconspicuous circumstances.
She places the device on the table before her, and it projects a holographic image up. It is Yohei Genji standing in front of his dragon battle mech. So the mech has its hand cupping him so that he can stand in front of the mech and look very impressive. And it's just like, Pact Charlemagne, have you ever considered service to your country? Do you support the Federated Sons? Join now. Benefits, student loans, paid. Medical, paid. Dentistry, paid. Education, paid. The Pact Charlemagne, courage, duty, honor, virtue. And then, you know, like as this is going on, you're getting images of Yohei Genji's battle mech. Like, you've heard that he's a war hero, and you can see based on just even the best footage of him shooting, it's definitely not because he's a good gunner. But you do watch him like pop out of a lake and like grab a commando, smash open the cockpit in like a rear chokehold that a mech really should not be capable of, and then drag it back under the lake until the pilot is dead. Like, if he is a great mech pilot, it is because he is good at the technical skill of piloting, and some of the shit that he's doing is really scary. Like, his dragon has been specifically customized so that when he punches, he also fires the arm-mounted autocannon.
Whoa! I'm glad I didn't fight that dude. Holy shoot!
So there's like a lot. There's like
Holy
several.
AC-10,
It's not like
Batman.
one. There are several different images of him punching a Draconis mech and blowing the cockpit out.
I imagine also this is done on like the 80s like videotape reel thing.
No,
So
no.
you know what I mean?
No. This is the early 2000s post 9/11 Navy recruiting ad.
Yes!
That was
yeah.
like do
Yeah.
do.
Guess what?
That is
God.
the vibe and aesthetic. You know, it's got lots of young, handsome people lined up in military uniforms doing drills and such. And at the end, it's Yohei Genji going, "Pact Charlemagne, serve your planet, serve your barony, serve your baron. Join me today. Courage, duty, honor, virtue." And like as he says that, the mech that he's standing on does a salute, and the camera zooms out, and like hundreds of militia people all do a salute as well.
Damn.
She closes it off.
If anything, this guy can do some production value.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, they call him Paladin. He's pretty good at talking to people. So he's Audrey says, "Yohei has asked me to get an offer olive branch on the assumption that you are loyal. And see here, he is beginning privately increase recruitment for his personal."
I think like Lachlan like chuckles a little bit and is just like, "So let me get this very clear, Baroness, and I understand you are the messenger here, but I want to make sure I fully understand the message. After the last time any of us have seen the man, Baron Genji has decided to ask us for help, not with a olive branch of his own making, but sending you to apologize in his stead. I still haven't even heard an apology for the man interrupting my wedding, and I had nothing to do with any of his concerns."
I have not apologized because I had nothing to do. All I did, offer my congratulations for your wedding.
Very well.
Any apologies you would like, you will receive from him. The two of us are undertaking a military raid against a target within the Draconis Combine in order to blunt the edge of a spear that will one day attack this planet. We would like to offer you a place on that task force. A final chance to prove your loyalty.
I would need to know some details of this.
Details cannot be provided until the last minute. If we tell you where we're going and what we're doing, and any information leaks out.
Is this sanctioned by House Moritomo? As I sip from my tea, like very carefully. Or like my
Are you
bowl.
sorry? Are you? I'm confused by the question. Are you asking if you're aware that House Moritomo is the enemy house?
Yeah, I think.
Did I miss
House Lake?
House Lake.
Sorry, my bad. She says. Sorry, I looked at the wrong.
No, absolutely
I literally
not.
have the wiki open. And I looked at the wrong one. My bad. But yeah, obviously, I don't want to. Basically, I don't want to get called out like we did last time.
Yeah, She says no. This is not sanctioned at all. Nobles go on such raids from time to time. We will be hiring mercenaries both on this planet and at the target objective to assist us. We hope that we can recover enough economic material to make a profit, but profit is not the objective of this endeavor. The objective of the endeavor is the recognition that the snake is always ready to sting, and that one must cut off the head.
I am honestly astounded by this proposal. You are asking us to burn goodwill, make a political move that will objectively benefit yourself. You question our loyalty while doing it, and you come at the behest of somebody who has purposely made us their enemy. Why should I turn on my allies in the Lake family to do an unsanctioned raid in order to prove my loyalty to you and Genji? I have nothing to prove to either of you.
I do not require your loyalty. The Federated Sons does, and I understand your umbrage. However, no one will expect you to join us. That is why you are being asked.
And this is one reason why I asked for details. I understand the tactical reason to withhold them, at least until the last moment, but there must be something that you can offer us to assure that what we're doing is for the right reasons. We have been already through much political turmoil, as my friend Hiroka here, especially. And there are movements in many regions of space, not just the Draconis Combine. How does this play in? What spear are we dulling?
All I am authorized to tell you is that should this be successful, there will be no repercussions from the Lake family.
I see.
The objective is one that our faction, your faction, and the Lake faction all find commonality with.
Do you have assurances that we will be politically protected?
No. One cannot offer assurances for such things. I'm not going to lie to you.
I cannot speak.
I'm not liking this.
Yeah.
I cannot speak for my fellows, but let me propose an offer under which I would be comfortable with this proposal. As you said, we have right to be wary of this. So here are the conditions that I would seek. I would ask that upon completion of this mission, House Genji release a formal apology to the three of our houses as well as our wives for his actions at our wedding and the Krinsky ball. I would also say that, as you point out, profit is not a main goal of this venture. I can set that aside, as can my friends, as long as the assurance states that should there be profit, houses McDougal, Hiroka, and Seppaku collect first. So long as these two conditions are met, I would find this proposal good enough. I see the need to stop Korea's war effort, and as I have said many times in the past on the Senate floor and in public, I believe that a crucial part of this time of peace is to gain as much power as quickly as we can before the next war. I believe you think the same of this.
I believe the most crucial thing is to make sure that our enemies have as little power as possible before the war begins.
Those amount to the same thing.
They do not.
All
Because
that
one
matters
can
is
have
the
more than one
comparative
enemy.
strength. All that matters is comparative strength.
In that, there is truth. I cannot offer, without speaking to Yohei, that you will be first to take of any loot. But I can tell you that in the past, I have found that all are paid equally from such raids. And if you cannot accept that, then we cannot do business. There will be many who are injured. There will be many survivors who will require benefits. Once they are paid out, all involved parties will receive equal shares.
What makes us so worried about this Draconis Combine attack that we must strike first? Why not let them come? Why not we just destroy them as soon as they land? I don't fear them.
Oh, wow. She hasn't said anything to you directly in this conversation yet. And when you say, like...
Oh, she's inviting me to do this shit.
Yes,
and I'm saying, you know what? Fucking bring it. I'll take it.
As she... Right up until you say, I don't fear them, there's some measure of civility in her face. And when you say, I don't fear them, she... like, darkness sets in. That is deeply upsetting to her, and she says, you should be afraid. They have been successful before. They will be successful again. The attacker has an advantage. They always will. They choose the time and place of engagement. If we strike, we can hit them where their people live. We can hit them where their businesses are, where their industry is. When they come to us, we are fighting inside our own house, and the house will burn. You should be afraid, because you can die.
Lafayette, it's cards on the table time. I have given you a option for what would make me feel comfortable with this dubious offer that puts our asses on the line in order to in response to uncertain promises.
I cannot say for sure that Genji will agree, but I believe Yohei will apologize to you as you have requested on the conclusion of this raid. I will speak with him and secure that. In regards to you putting your financial interests first, that is a no deal. I can only promise that you will be equal partners, and we are willing to set this in a contract with Comstar to ensure its validity. A private, non-public contract.
Very well.
She hasn't mentioned basically in like this whole time, Kuro, while they've been talking, has been kind of brooding in the back, thinking over the tactics of this and like what doing kind of like speculation of what he knows from the conversation that he's had with Jana and the tactical maps and things like that they've been poring over for who knows, I don't know how long anymore. It's like this quarantine we've been stuck inside. No, anyway. What would Kuro be able to surmise, like based with his tactical mind, where they would be striking and why?
Yes. I mean, you don't even have to make a roll for this. They're definitely going to be hitting Valentina. And the thing that they're going to hit is the Moritomo family. Legally, there was the proclamation several years ago that the Moritomo family, the Lake branch of it, is prescribed. You know, like that was one of the first votes that this Senate had. It's the only target where if you left, the Lake family would not immediately freak out, because if you kill the Moritomos, their rule over the planet is essentially uncontested for a generation.
I see.
There's more to this if you'd like to put it together, if you'd like to make a roll, but like you have what you need at the basic level just from what she's told you.
Sure. I think the other aspect of this is like because Kuro's now become more and more wary and kind of tying his tactical decisions with the politics of like making sure that it's being presented well.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get upset when Darth Jana takes over the galaxy. First Princess Jana von Hohenheim Supaku.
I 100% support this theory, and I am totally fine being the husband of Darth Jana.
All right.
She's Rey, you're Kylo.
Yeah. It's cool.
So like as players here, I don't think I'm interested in doing this raid. Only because I have nothing to prove and I don't need Genji's apology. I'm willing to eat this. I feel pretty comfortable, but I could be manipulated into doing this.
Okay.
And the way I would be manipulated is if you bring up not because like I'm taking the giant fucking social hit, right? By doing all this stuff. But I'm okay because I have the love of my life. And like honest, and that's like I'm fine with that.
That's all you need.
However, if someone would manipulate me about my brother and how my brother would handle this differently and compare me to my brother, I absolutely would fucking like stand up to this. But now I'm like just being gusto, like, you know, I'm literally just being a bunch of gusto of like, well, just let him come. I have nothing to be afraid of.
So AP, I think I do want to make a roll on this because what I want to do is, see if there's but
it would be a low blow bringing up my dead brother. Real fucking low blow.
Yeah, I don't think Kuro would be able to do it. That would be a Lachlan move for sure. No offense.
I mean, it would.
So I think I want to do a roll for this, and I think the premise behind it is that Kuro is thinking about the deeper implications of, you know, like the ripple effects, the butterfly effect of like the tactical map of how this will change the battlefield. knowing what he knows and seeing Darth Jana's perspective.
Okay. Make a tactics roll.
Okay. So this is a plus
So
4.
because it's tactics and not something more strategic, you're going to get local to the Draconis Combine March, the Draconis March, and the Outworlds. Yeah, you're not going to be able to be like, oh, one raid on a planet will update the entire galactic battle mech.
I'm not going galaxy brain here.
This isn't Naboo, right? Like,
I totally imagine that there's like new age superstitions of reading neutrino readings.
Wow.
Like, this is favorable or not.
Oh wow. Okay. So tactics. Let's go ahead and just roll it. Ooh, that's low.
Ooh, what'd you get there?
That's a 4 plus 4. It's 8.
I mean, you're confused. Like, it's tough to say what a raid on Valentina would do.
Reroll it.
Yeah, I'm gonna re-roll it. I think.
Are you sure? It's I mean, come
I've
on.
got 2.
Yeah.
I get 3 rerolls, so
yeah.
that's why I spent mine. I thought you had 3.
No, I didn't improve my edge like you all did because I had to improve all my other stats for other things. Oh man!
Don't let me stop you from using edge, but who knows how you might need it.
I would do it if I were you.
Okay, I'm gonna so I can reroll both if I don't like them.
Correct.
Okay. Come on, bite it.
Not much better.
I got that 1.
10 instead of 8's better.
10 instead of 8 though.
It's hard to say. This is not your area of expertise.
Okay, I haven't quite gotten to that galaxy brain level.
I think so. Yeah, Lachlan will be like, if we may, Baroness, a moment to confer amongst ourselves.
She leaves a card on the table and gets up to leave, but she takes the 3 Haruka brand beers with her as she leaves.
Sure. As soon as she's out the door, Lachlan will look around and will say, I think we should go.
There's something deeper here, and I can't quite put my finger on it.
Kuro, if you say that the situation militarily is inappropriate, I will take your advice. But from a political point of view and a point of view of preparing for the war that you say is incipient, I believe this is our best course of action. It will aid our alliance and provide beneficial backing in action that we genuinely do care about the preparation for war. If successful, it's a feather in all of our hats. And last but not least, if we can secure that apology from Genji, Jasper, that's very good for you, given your current reputation.
I'm not gonna go fight for this man and then grovel for an apology from him.
What part of it is groveling?
What makes you so sure that he will apologize once he's gotten what he needs from us?
If he hasn't gotten what he needs for us, and if he has gotten what he needs from us and refuses to apologize, then we will know exactly where he stands and we can smash him. He's not a clever political operator. You don't think we can make that work against him in the same way we can make an apology work against him?
I wouldn't be so sure if he's not as politically savvy as you say.
I don't care about some Koreans raiding me. Look what they did. They did it 2 years ago. I don't care. I can take them.
It isn't about that. Didn't you hear what I said? How good it would be in all of those other aspects? That's just a cherry on top.
Jasper, there is a bigger picture here.
There's more to worry about here than out there. I think referring to stuff at home.
Yeah.
Don't you want to be here for summer? Don't you miss the Cattamaster pools?
Wow, we brought that one back.
Jasper, I haven't spent a summer on Whittington since I was 12 years old. I don't care.
He's just up there floating in the Crystal Palace space station.
No, I mean, like, no,
I know.
To be clear, like,
yes.
he got shipped off to school at a young age, and was, then was fucked off to Solaris.
Sorry, what school was that?
Citizenship.
The New Avalon Academy of Science.
Institute. Nace, we're everywhere.
I can't be out raiding when so much is on the line for me this year at home. I need to be with Tamari. I need to make sure the citizenship is in schedule. I need to be here for the tractor, the cattle master pool.
I need to inform you of what's going to happen.
I'm making up excuses.
Yes, today was February 13th. Tomorrow is Valentine's Day. On February the 15th, Tamari is catching a fast transport to New Avalon to start her accelerated course credits in aerospace fighters. She's getting a degree in mechanical and aerospace engineering while also training to be a pilot.
So
you're with your wife for 2 more days.
I think this is Lachlan's response.
You paid a exorbitant amount of money to keep her here until Valentine's Day, so she could catch a drop ship that catches a jump ship to jump ship to jump ship very quickly to get her there before the spring classes start.
Yeah. So I think in response to this, we see Lachlan getting like a tad frustrated, and he's just gonna be like, Jasper, do you think that I really want to be doing any of the shit that I do on a day-to-day basis, shaking hands with all of these people who just want me to do whatever the hell they need me to do to make more goddamn money? Of course, I don't want to play these games all the time. I would much rather be back on Solaris winning prizes and fighting with mechs from all over the sector. This is better than anything we can accomplish at home from both a military, an economic, and a political perspective. Unless you can show me a way that staying at home benefits us in those ways, we must act like barons, and we must do this.
Kuro is like still taking a sip of his beer and like just lost in thought while this tirade has been going on.
I just have a bad feeling about it. That's all. You've convinced me that like we should do it, and like now you know that I just don't like how it tastes. But you're like, you're fucking bad.
AP's like, yes, dance, puppets, dance.
Yeah. Right. So I think that's like
he'll like begrudgingly do it. Unless you want to make a roll so I don't feel as begrudging.
No, I think Lachlan's gonna like acknowledge that. Like once you say that, like some of the, Lachlan's very quick to heat up, very quick to cool down, right? So it's like,
you got double heat sinks.
Exactly. So it's like so it's very much just like, look, I don't want to dismiss your bad feeling. If both you and Kuro think it's a bad idea, you have more experience in military operations than I do. I'm just pointing out that this has the potential to be massively beneficial for us when we get home. I don't see how we can benefit as much staying here.
One worry that I do have is what happens when we leave. We are the Oath of Endosteel. We are the sword that protects Whittington.
Yes.
This could be a play from insiders. I'm not saying Genji or Lafayette, but it could be a play at something else. And
we broke him. Kuro is suspicious now. Got him.
It's true.
You're not wrong.
I didn't even think of that.
I think that's a very persuasive argument to Lachlan. Like he does like.
I mean, the last time we left, many things changed.
That approval of the Countess,
the regent, yeah, or the chancellor.
Chancellor, yeah.
Well, he's the regent. He's chancellor of the Senate as well, and president.
Right, regent. Okay. Oh wow, he's got all the titles.
I do think that our current standing with Sir Erwin may be a tad better than it was before we left the last time, but
why strain that even more?
you're not wrong. It won't make him happy unless we succeed, in which case he'll still probably have to chasten us, but I'm sure that he won't dislike us securing the privacy of the Lake family.
I don't like the idea of pissing off a chancellor when so many mercenaries, elite forces are currently here in Winnington City.
If the chancellor were to instigate that kind of purge, his head would be on the spike too.
Not so sure.
I believe it may be best for us to confer with others before we make a full decision. It does not seem that it is immediately urgent.
I was buying into this, and then Kuro brought that shit up, and now I'm bad. I bought out. I'm out again.
I mean, technically, it makes sense. Like, you know, you send off a distraction for like the head knights
striking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you mean at home? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you. When Lafayette was thinking about it, I was like, how hard would it be to hire a mercenary company to make sure they don't come back?
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't do that.
That's what I wouldn't do that.
Well, and also like the fact that they mentioned the mercenary halls, they were opposed to those before, and now they are using them freely. I mean, it makes sense that they would use the resources they have, but still.
They oppose them for the exact reason that you are saying. Because while you're gone, someone could just be like, well, all the free mercenaries on the planet, I'm going to hire them and go take over Jasper's house. That's my house now.
So I think
they oppose them because of this precise situation.
Lachlan is going to lean back. He's going to finish his beer, and he's going to say, you both make some rather excellent points. I still say the risk is worth it. However, I will go with whatever the majority thinks is best. If we want to confer and try to get a little bit more information, sounds good to me. Just let me know once you have a decision.
I can see if I can figure out this itch that is nagging at me.
A phantom menace, you say?
God damn it.
I love democracy.
I love the Senate.
John is just like in shadows, like, you know, hovering overhead. Yes, the Republic must be
but when you get close enough to her, she just doesn't have any makeup on. She's pale because she hasn't been sleeping. And she's got a marker and she's like, economic prosperity. I see it. I can see that.
Clouded by the dark side, this mission is. I must meditate.
All right, Yoda, Qui-Gon, and gosh, who would Eddie be? Obi-Wan, I guess. Yeah. When you leave, Kuro, your phone begins binging like 16 times. As soon as it can reconnect to the planetary internet, you've got messages from the Office of Special Investigations demanding your presence immediately to deliver search authorizations.
Oh boy.
So to tell you what this is, it's the military version of a search warrant. Normally it would take your boy, special investigator, Sebastian Bassett. You know, you'd have to go through a judge and it would take a while and he'd have to have all sorts of, you know, like probable causes. By having you on his staff, he just has you serve search authorizations because you're military court rather than civil court. And because you've been assigned to this specific, you've assigned yourself to this, you are authorized to carry these out. And so, yeah, like anytime he's about to roll up on somebody, he just calls you and he's like, all right, search authorization time. Let's go. That's
a good point. You can't really leave, man. You're kind of part of this investigation at home.
It's true.
Listen, you can resign your office at any time. And to be clear, your desk is in a private room. It's got a nice view of the outside, and no one ever comes into your office. You're the only paperwork you're ever asked to fill out are search authorization confirmations.
So I'm a figurehead that he's.
Oh, the other thing that happens is
you're a glorified stamper.
No, my apologies. The other thing he does is he asks you for military intelligence. So he's like, I need to know like what you know about this, and this. I need the military intelligence files on these things. Yeah, your job is to put stamps on paper.
Yeah, I mean, this is one reason why I didn't like the deal originally. The
deal exists.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought he reneged he said no because
I didn't approve.
Because Kuro didn't vote for it.
No, he was super pissed, but he's still going to use you.
Okay.
Yeah. As long as you're willing to keep an eye on him, he doesn't care because he's using it to keep an eye on all of everywhere.
Sure.
I mean, let's be very clear here. Like, they're probably when you walk outside, the Hollows are playing like the Office of Special Projects or the Office of Special Investigations today made several new arrests in conjunction with the lake bombing. And like the local reporter, not James Shadd, but someone very local, and Federated Suns base is going through like criminals, like mafia types are being rounded up all over the place. Sebastian Bassett is putting a huge dent in organized crime. There haven't been any like lake bombing confessions, but he's rolling up on criminals everywhere across the planet, and he's actually taking aim at like high-ranking politicians and nobles.
He's just consolidating his criminal enterprise.
Yes, he is. But to the public, he's Rudy Giulianiing these people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But to the public, it looks like he's doing like his public approval rating is soaring. He's bringing criminals in left and right and locking them up forever.
Yeah,
and he's
reality. He's just letting his own people.
He's using Kuro to pull off all of this. Kuro is pivotal to him to pull this off at the speeds he's trying to do it at.
Now
my God, you're using the fucking planetary security apparatus to secure your fucking criminal contacts. What a fucking god!
I know on the East Coast we call that Rudy Giulianiing, but here in the Midwest that's called a Kwame Kilpatrick.
Wow!
What a big brain! What a big politic brain!
I want to remind you that most of you voted yes to this measure, so.
Yep. Oh well, shit.
Remember when you guys were like, I can't believe the government works for me? Right now, Sebastian's going, I can't believe the government works for me.
I mean, look, this has got to be great for Lachlan then, because it looks like this is all part of his many-step plan to bring prosperity to Whittington.
As far as anybody knows, Sebastian is a member of Lachlan's prosperity. You called it the co-prosperity sphere, and that's what people are calling it.
I think Kuro would be doing his own investigation of what's actually going on here.
We'll get to that at a much later date. The question is, are you going to pass authorization and then show up to this raid? He's raiding a known crime lord's yacht.
It's not my yacht.
We're talking we're talking one of those super yachts that has smaller yachts inside of it.
Oh God.
Oh man, so interesting.
That's a big decision to have right now.
So you have a mech battle on a yacht? Oh my God, what a cool map. All right, continue.
I already did the mech battle on a super container ship, and that was great.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The yacht would not be able to carry a mech. It would instantly. Smallest mech is 20 tons.
Oh man. Okay. Well, context wise, so I know that he's using me for this.
Yeah.
And
just to be clear, he knows that you're trying to investigate him at the same time. He just doesn't care. He doesn't care, and he's getting a lot out of you very quickly. I mean, in the course of 3 months, he's made dozens of arrests.
Sure.
I'm really glad you all picked up on that, by the way. The fact that immediately he's eliminating his competition.
I've played Bassett before. Bassett is literally just Vero.
I think there's a delay in my response.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to intentionally delay, but play it off as I have immediate business that needs to be attended to right now. This is not something I can act on.
All right,
now.
he pings you back and just asks for the search authorization then. As soon as you answer, it's immediately read, and he's just like, just e-signature this right here, and he sends you the form. What he's about to do isn't strictly legal. You're supposed to be at all of these arrests, but he doesn't care because he knows that he's just going to make it go away in court.
Yeah. I think Kuro's going to play that up and say I do not feel comfortable with that.
He's like, all right. If you want to slow up our investigation, that's fine. We'll get it the other way.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna cold him there because I want to look into this more.
Yeah. Look, if you want to cool off the breakneck speed he's doing at this, you can. I want to ask all of you about Valentine's Day plans. Tomorrow's the 14th. We don't need to go into great details, but anything romantic, skydiving, driving through the countryside, lying on the floor, rolling around in pillows, just staring at the ceiling, going, wow, what a day. That's, just to be clear, that's Senya's perfect. That's it.
I want to take Tamari scuba diving.
Ah, damn it! That was literally what I was just thinking about.
Okay, fine. No.
You can totally do that. It's fine.
No, okay, no. I have a better idea then.
We can dive together.
I want to take her on a helicopter tour and then go to the hot baths that are like up in the mountain.
Ooh,
okay,
nice.
All right.
Okay.
The southern mountains of Whittington, of course.
Scuba
diving then?
I already described this place as like it's like either really tropical or fucking alpine. It's like there's no like middle ground. I live in the weird middle ground where like there's really good farming.
There's a lot of trees on the planet. Whole lot of trees.
Yeah. It's like rainforest or fucking like Pacific Northwest mountains. Like there's nothing in between. It's just
dude, oh yeah, go like to hot springs up in the mountains, man. Get some stone baths.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. Going to the hot baths.
Perfect.
That's my perfect day.
Spaku, what about you?
Yeah, I think oh man.
I want to start by saying that Jonna doesn't understand the significance of Valentine's Day.
Can I?
She's just like, I have work to do, but all right, okay, I'll humor you.
Oh,
it's
I let Tamari have a chance to fly the helicopter. Like, do I have someone there who can like a co-pilot thing of the
yes. I mean, you're gonna have to pay him hundreds of dollars to do this.
Sure, that's fine.
Like, it's not legal, but yes.
It's a Valentine's Day. But yeah, the idea here is though, it's like also like,
well, you can co-pilot.
Literally never let her crash this thing.
Right.
I want to be clear, right? Like it's never going to be that.
So
but she has the ability to be like, hey, here's the rotor, here's the thrust. Here's the
he'll co-pilot you. Right?
I'm like this is what you're going to study.
In the process, he slides you his business card.
That's fine.
Like there's an implication here that maybe there'll be more patronage in the future for him.
Sure.
The money's good. But
sure, that's fine. I mean, I have no idea this is a date, and I want her to have the experience of what she wants because I think this is what she wants.
Yeah.
Let
me roll some dice
we have
real
that
quick.
awkward experience of she's doing this because she thinks I want it, and I'm doing this because I think she wants that, and now it's like
big
relationships.
I
think a teenager.
I think Kuro.
Teenager, everybody.
Yeah, look, she does
not
not
talk about it.
She has some good idea of how to pilot this, and so when he's like pointing to things, she's agreeing and nodding. It's not like she doesn't make any mistakes at all. Like the pilot is just like, okay, I'm gonna need you not to slide slip anymore. All right, just keep that yaw steady. All right, but you're doing good. You're doing good.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, he says something, like a dad would say, like, are you sure you haven't piloted a helicopter before? You did real well there, young lady.
Oh, my goodness.
And that moment is when he reaches
stressful.
a hand out to shake your hand, and his business card is in his hand.
And now,
he does the stealth slide to you.
Now, my love, I know that could have been a little stressful. That's why I have I prepared up in the Tory Baths a special little nightly rendezvous.
Wow.
For us, a nice little dinner.
How's Spaku? What do you got for me?
Well, I don't think I'm gonna do anything with that. That was great. No, I think Kuro purchases.
Okay.
Yeah, totally. No, I mean, I am very appreciative, and that's why
the big moments are all right, but it's the continual small moments that add up.
Yep, that's the problem. Sweeping gestures is my game. Day to day is a little.
That sounds
rough.
like a divorcee that never really detaches from his ex. That's what I'm hearing.
Yep, ground game's real bad, but I got the strategy.
My god. I think Kuro would be approaching this in knowing Jonna at this point that she loves work.
Yeah.
Would make it be something that's both fun for her, that like maybe feels like work but isn't actually work.
Wow. What is this, an escape room? Boom. That's right, escape roomist. I gotcha. I mean, what do you anticipate that as being?
That's a good question. Like, tell me a little bit more about Jonna and like what I know she's passionate about.
Prosperity.
And oh, you know what it is? I got it. We do a farmer's market.
That's actually really good. She spends the whole time like, I never even thought about this. I really should be learning from the basic level how it gets from the farm to the table.
It's important.
She's standing there with like one suspender on, one suspender off, overall, blue jean overalls, you know, like a shirt. She's got a massive, huge sun hat and way too much sunscreen on. And she's got the sunglasses on the hat rather than on her face. People are just are pleased as peas to see her. They're just like, oh, Baroness, I seen you on TV, and the price of these carrots is a little too low. You might want to raise them up a couple cents.
And I feel like at some point in the day, Kuro just kind of talks to her and says, yes, it's always important to ensure that we remain connected to the people and understand where things come from. As nobles, we have things served to us often, and we can become detached.
You know, she's just like, oh, noblesse oblige. Yes, I learned about it at school.
Well, let's experience it then. And I go and like start striking up conversations with all the locals, and like some of them probably they'll probably recognize me. But
is this
like some
all
of them
like
know me.
Jasper Hiroka brand food goods? Like you're selling stuff direct from Jasper's farms to your local people?
I think there's a good mixture. Like there's definitely some independents that are in there as well.
Oh yeah, local farmers, of course. You would never slight your own people, but Jasper's the big aggro. Yeah,
sure. I think there's definitely some representative from there, but it's all a mixture, right?
Okay.
And obviously there are groups of the small businesses that my family supports and invests in, are all there doing their wares and selling like different arts and crafts. And there's probably like a little station where we can actually do some arts and crafts ourselves. And
a lot of the little kids are making macaroni drawings of you and your wife.
Sure.
Because you're the fanciest people they ever met.
And I think there's like maybe some like some pottery or some like fairy houses that are being built and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lachlan.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a thing for you.
Okay.
Valentine's Day morning, your wife is waiting for you at the breakfast table.
Okay.
And she just says very flatly, I'm pregnant with twins.
Awesome. Yeah, Lachlan is ecstatic. He throws his arms into the air and starts shouting unintelligible but happy things, and we'll like try to give her a hug and everything.
Okay.
And I don't think that he has like, after spending like a year or so with Xenia, he I think probably realizes that trying to like go do a big event is more likely to just like make her tired and sad than like.
Good, you're learning. Good.
Yeah. So I think what he did was he definitely would have gotten like flowers and stuff too, just because he wouldn't have been able to help himself. That's like the kind of person he is. But he probably would have just gotten like, he's gonna do kind of what he did with that first gift, but instead of the first gift he gave was like an old piece of tech that she immediately just scrapped for parts. Instead of trying to find like something that's like innately good that she would scrap, he's just gonna get her like a fuckload of parts.
Like jump ship, jump engine replacement parts.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think like for like the last couple weeks, like anytime a shipment came in through the spaceport, where it was like something that he knew was like particularly rare, he would just kind of like make sure that it went to us.
So this is what happens. You unveil this huge pile of parts, and she puts her hands up to her mouth and starts crying and says, "This is such a lovely gift, but I don't need it anymore." I think it's time. I think we need to take the thing on the front lawn and destroy it.
Okay. Yes.
It's time to look forward rather than back.
Xenia, I'm so glad to hear that. I'll help you as soon as you're ready.
Well, I'm pregnant, so I probably shouldn't be doing a lot of.
Yes, absolutely.
I think I need to talk more to my doctor. I mean, I'm only 2 months pregnant. Calm down. You're so emotional about all of this. She says, tears streaming down her face.
Yeah.
I mean, she sits down with you, and there's no more conversation. You can say whatever you want to her from this point. She's just staring at the parts as if saying goodbye to the concept.
Yeah, sure. I think, and like this maybe happens. We can maybe do this as like a later scene. But I think that Lachlan would actually propose like a alternative, attempt at refunctioning of the project, and his thinking. Is that since it's all of this like old SLDF tech, he's wondering if maybe they can it basically it's like this weird giant like transmitter thing. So he's gonna like try to figure out if between him and Xenia they can't get it to like ping off of other SLDF technology to in theory like find locations that have been lost.
What you're looking for are called castles, Brian. They are Star League Defense Force bases that were mothballed. So like when the Star League was falling apart, and even before that, they were like, well, let's put all of our really cool mechs in total vacuum and stick everything in there so that they don't decay or break down or anything. And, you know, when they're needed, we'll be able to pull them out and all the parts will still work perfectly.
That's exactly what I want to find.
Yeah, I mean, look, finding one of these things is enough to make a common man a noble for generations and enough to make a noble, like, a planetary leader.
But
How long
basically,
ago was the Helm memory core found?
It hasn't been found yet.
Okay.
It won't be found for, I don't think it'll be found until next year.
But that's like basically the premise, right? Is like Lachlan's convinced that finding one of those by itself is like basically impossible. But he's looking at like something on his front lawn that really no one should have been able to put together as far as they have anyway.
All right,
so
I'm gonna make some rules, and I want you to know that in regards to a Castle Brian, my map people have already made up a map for this specific situation.
Oh wow!
The bad news is that Comstar kills you.
Well, yeah.
Comstar does like finding these old bases and then stealing all of the king crabs from them and putting them underneath the planet Earth.
I want those king crabs.
That'll happen around Tukid, where they're like, actually, we have 40 regiments of mechs, and everybody's like, you have what?
What?
They're like, I thought you were an unarmed pacifist commute like AT&T, and they're like, no, actually, we have one of the largest militaries in existence, and it's all made up of super old technology that's better than what you're using.
Hey everyone, bad news. I agreed to duel them on Tukid. The good news is that I have every single king crab ever made. And I will be prepared to lose all of them. And honestly, if they get through all the king crabs, we deserve to lose, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk about defense in depth. And that's how the meeting went.
This happens privately on your phone. We're not going to address it until the future. But you do get a bing from Sebastian asking when they can finalize the pre-marriage agreement with his nephew and your illegitimate daughter, who I believe you said you were going to adopt her as your heir to him.
No, I specifically told her I told him I
all right,
wouldn't.
all right. Then he wants to know when that's going to get finalized because he wants it on paper and announced.
The thing that I made him agree to was that his cousin would be his heir. The one that she is marrying will be the Bassett heir.
Correct.
I still want to do that.
So the other thing we haven't discussed yet is you are in with Sir Erwin Faber Lake Reincolt. Have you done as your mistress asked and got, like, if you want to say that they're playmates now, then Celeste and because Celeste is 2 and Harmony is 4, they're old enough to communicate and play together now.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
He would definitely want that.
The last scene we get in this time is all of you get a message on your phone from your lead mech tech or someone that you trust, or in Lachlan's case, his business manager, telling you to turn on a TV, and then you're like, what channel? And they're like, every channel, you know, like how it goes in the movies.
I love it.
On repeat is a ad published by Yohei Genji, elucidating the unfortunate situation around the wedding, and that he's asking specifically the 6 houses and also the people of Whittington to forgive him his insensitivity, that he was at fault for attempting to press the issue publicly, that he will never again overreach either his virtue or his honor by trying to force a conflict at such an auspicious event.
That's great news for Lachlan. Lachlan is loving it, loving every minute of it.
So by next week, I need to know if you guys are yes or no on the combat mission.
Okay.
For right now, please take 4 experience points, and if you have anything you want to say at the end of this episode, you know, now's that time. It's episode end time.
Missed this game.
Yeah, this is a great one.
We were only gone for 1 week.
That's all it takes, man. Time is irrelevant right now.
I am really pleased with how this session went for Lachlan by and large. I feel like a lot of today's rules could have had will have a large impact on the kind of person that Lachlan will continue to become, right? Is like, I feel like there's some question with all of our characters, like, will they kind of grow out of some of this bullshit that they're doing right now?
Yeah.
And I think we actually started to kind of see, right, exactly. Like Lachlan's the oldest at 24. So like, I think that how like the rules today worked out are like good signs that Lachlan is like progressing towards, you know, not being such a scumbag petty noble especially in his personal life, and like thinking a little bit more about how to be a good husband and how to be a good father, etc.
Yeah, there was a surprising amount of Lachlan being a decent husband. I was shocked.
You know, I was gonna base it on that role, right? Like if I had flubbed that role, like that would have been a real sign on how their relationship would go in the future.
And I think it's kind of interesting that so far you're the only one that has any kids.
A lot of kids.
Yeah. Like
to be clear, I linked the on the I'll put it on the wiki too, but on the player resources I linked the more full family tree that I created because I wanted Lachlan to have a shitload of siblings. So now he is the youngest of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Wow.
So large families. I have this thought in my head of his father, Finley McDougal, as like a more fastidious Walder Frey. So yeah, like Lachlan has some real father issues that have not really come into play yet, but may more so.
That's good, because you're gonna have a lot of dad issues. What with the illegitimate daughter?
Well, oh my goodness. No, I thought it was a really interesting episode. I think with Kuro especially, like I was able to portray some of his attempts at bigger brain thinking and starting to see the bigger picture of, like, you know, just outside of the tactics and in the cockpit, and then also becoming more of a politician in some regards. You know, you saw hints of that as he was progressing, but yeah, that's kind of where I've been spending most of my points actually. It's like in the social graces categories.
I want to know how you get out of the devil's bargain you made with your boy's special investigator, Baron Sebastian Bassett.
Yeah. So okay. So I mean, I think like going into this, I didn't quite understand Bassett's like standing in the fact that he was more of like a crime lord noble.
It says directly in his wiki that he's a former drug dealer. Party boy.
Read over that and I'm so bad. But yeah, as an intelligence officer, that was a major slip. But I think yeah, ultimately my goal here was to not let him run over me
We'll make a roll for that
matrix.
next time.
Yes. And investigate him.
We'll make a roll for that.
Yeah, in regards to
Remind me at the beginning of the next episode, and we'll get it done.
I'll make a note of it now so that way I don't forget.
Make a note on log.
Yeah, that I think will be like an interesting relationship, because like really Kuro's success is really the difference in whether this consolidation of like criminal power is the thing that reveals Bassett, or the thing that, you know, propels him to be the true crime lord of Whittington forever after.
Crime lord? He's a legitimate enterprise now. He's head of a major government task force that covers multiple departments. And has military involvement.
These things are not mutually exclusive, AP.
He has some very legitimate, real businesses that he launders his money through.
I mean, it's very much who watches The Watchmen.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of my purpose right now. Is that I am the Watchman. And Bassett. No, wait. I don't know.
Bassett is the Watchman. You're the one who has to keep him in line.
Exactly.
Wow. Now I have to figure out what I need to pay you in order to get on Bassett's side.
Good job.
Oh my goodness.
The other thing we need to talk about next time is the extent of your contract with Jacobson. We didn't get a chance this episode, but we're going to go into detail with that next time.
Okay.
Because you have agreed to do this thing where you ship your people out to the edge of known space.
Yeah.
But how that goes down, you're going to have a couple options. So
okay. Flesh out Jacobson.
Yep.
Contract.
Okay.
And, yeah.
Just a reminder, 4 XP. Any final notes before we sign off for the day?
I'm getting more and more suspicious, AP. So you're doing a good job.
Good. I mean,
I'm excited.
The premise of this game was that there's an investigation that was never completed, and you're the character who has the investigation skill, and you've made no progress toward investigating.
I've been trying.
So we are.
We get sidetracked with all these awesome things you're doing.
I just want to say this: that I wrote Babylon 5 style. What would happen to all of the characters over the years if none of you interacted with them in their life? Like, what is the arrow of their time if you had never interacted with them? If you had ignored Xenia, shit would have gotten very bad.
Oh, wow.
Like, convincing her to lay the technology aside has redirected the arrow of her life away from some very dark places.
I am so glad that I had such success on that roll. I really, really am.
Me too, man. I mean, I was curious to see what time shenanigans that AP was going to throw at us, but also...
I mean, she would have just exploded and died.
Oh, well, that's not as fun. I thought like it was going to get all timey-wimey on us.
No, she's insane. Are you kidding me? What she's trying to do is impossible. She thinks it is, but it's not. That's it for us. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good day.